Hi, today I'm making a video on a review of this thing here, which is called a Mambo-q. It's an Australian product which helps to turn your Weber kettle into almost like a bullet smoker, I guess. I'm going to do a brisket, a smaller one. But first of all, with the Mambo-q, so what it is basically, it's a two-piece product. First of all, you've got this dish, which is a drip tray slash water pan tray, and as you can see, you can put your beads around the tray, and it's got a section here which blocks the start point of your beads and the end point, so that you can light your snake all around. You then put some water, if you like, into the drip pan to create your moisture in your pan, and then this ring slips on top like such, which becomes a heat deflector, so to speak, so that your beads are sitting somewhat underneath that, I guess. That will allow more indirect heat and force that hot smoke up and around your meat. So this thing here is about 44 centimeters in diameter, so it's made to fit your Weber kettle, both sizes if you've got the 22-inch or the smaller version, and that sits down on your charcoal grate. You then fill the water pan up, and it helps to give you, I guess, a better controlled snake and a good drip tray slash water pan. I'm going to do a brisket and review this in tandem with, if you saw my video a few weeks ago, I installed a Lavalock gasket onto my Weber, which does a great job of sealing in all the smoke. So the Lavalock in combination with this, hopefully we get even better results on our briskets than what we've ever had before. This is the brisket that we'll be cooking up using the new Mambo-q in combination with the Lavalock on our Weber kettle, but this one is a Cape Byron Angus. So this one is, let's have a look here, just over 3.5 kilos. It was $15 a kilo, so $53. So a bit more on the expensive side for a brisket, but still a relatively inexpensive cut of meat. It's fairly thick here at the thicker end. Still looks okay here at the flat. So what I'm hoping is, with the Lavalock installed on my Weber now, which seals in way more smoke than before, it's going to help me control the temp better, so I can do this thing at no less than 230 and hopefully no more than 250. I'll use my iGrill thermometer to measure it and to keep track of it, both with a grill temp monitor and a couple of probes in the meat. I'm hoping to get a much darker, better forming crust than what you've seen, or better forming bark than what you've seen in my previous videos. Hopefully we get some really good results. We'll see how it all works out. Okay, so here is the Weber setup. I've done my usual snake. Now my snake is normally 2 beads wide and 3 beads high. So the beads are there, stacked up around the Mambo-q. Now if you're wondering, that's Mambo, M-A-M-B-O dash letter Q, Mambo-q. It's an Australian company. I found this product, they posted a YouTube video on it, and it popped up in one of my suggested results on YouTube, so I watched it. I then found Mambo-q on Facebook, and also he's got a website, Mambo-q. So I dropped the guy an email. It looks like it's a fairly new product he made. It's made of pretty thick, heavy gauge steel, and then it's black powder coated. So I mean, the finish of the product looks okay, nothing wrong with it. I guess it doesn't have to be anything flash. I won't say it's the absolute most incredibly finished product that I've ever seen. It's more than adequate, I guess, for a barbecue where it's going to get full of grease, dirty and black and all that sort of stuff anyway. I've left space down here to put my starter beads once I light them up. And then what's going to happen basically is that the top of the Mambo-q, which looks like this, is going to go here slips inside and over. And then once it's on, as you can see, you end up with sort of, I guess, a bit of a heat deflector and somewhere for all your drippings and crap to slide down into and into that tray, which will be filled with boiling water to give the barbecue some moisture as it cooks. So I'm going to start the snake over there, okay, and the amount of beads I put here, which is half a Weber worth, I find easily gives me well over 14 hours of cooking, running it at, you know, sort of 240 degrees Fahrenheit, 250 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a smaller brisket, as I just showed you, 3.5 kilos, so I don't think it'll take me as long as what they normally do. I've got my brisket here ready to go, it's all seasoned up. Got some smoking chips which have been soaking for a little while. The eyebrow is here. Sort of can't build it, but at the moment we're about 163, 164 degrees Fahrenheit. We'll just wait for it to get up to as close as we can to 250, then we'll open up the lid, put the brisket on, put the probes into the brisket, and let it go. I'll leave the eye grill on it so it'll beat me through the night if anything should go wrong, but hopefully this will go steadily through to about 7 or 7:30 in the morning when I wake up. And hopefully it doesn't get me up through the night, the temperature stays stable. We'll see how it looks then, and that would have been 9 to 9.5 hours cooking time roughly by about that time. We'll see what it looks like then and where the temperatures are. Okay, so we're now at 30 in the morning, and we've been going out since about 4 to 11 last night. So we've been on for almost 9 hours. The Mambo-q product is definitely making the temperature, I think, difficult to read, but we've definitely hit a stall. We've been hovering between 160 to 165 degrees since 4 AM this morning, which was the last time I sort of checked the temps. But the eye grill is telling me that we've got an internal temp at the moment inside of the barbecue of about 240 degrees on the ambient temp probe. But the gauge on top of the Weber says about 310 degrees. 320 now, and I've put my manual probe just through the vent there to see what that says, and that covers, depending on where I put it, 220 degrees to 270 degrees. So there is a 70 to 80 degree difference between the eye grill, between the top of the Weber, and between the manual probe. And I think that is because the flange section of the Mambo-q, which goes around, deflects the heat up and pushes it up and around. Where the ambient temp probe is on the grill doesn't actually get hit with a lot of heat, so that's made the temperature really difficult to read. But we've definitely hit a stall for about 4 hours now, there's no doubt about it. So I'm going to open it up, have a look. I'm going to probe the meat internally with the meat probe as well, just to see what temps that gives me. And given that we have hit this stall, I don't want the meat to dry out, but I need it to continue cooking because I don't think it'll be done yet if the internal probes are saying it's at about 160. So we'll wrap with foil. So let's have a look now at how we're going inside. So here we go, we're going to have a look together. So the meat itself is definitely a mahogany. So let's go with a couple of manual probes. Yeah, the probe's definitely not going in easy, so definitely not going inside, but a lot of moisture down on the top, which is nice. Let's see what it says in here. 161 there. So here we're going a bit more, 165. It is pushing a bit easy there, but still not soft, not probe soft. It's giving me about a 171 and climbing a little bit there. So look, I'm going to proceed to wrap so that we don't dry this out, put it back on and let it keep going. But what I'm talking about with the manual temp probe, I think, is that there's my temp probe there on the grill, but the flange here pushes the heat up to the side and around. As far as the snake goes, we started over there, we've come all the way around to about there so far. So we seem to have used, I would say, 60% of the snake, and the snake was half of the Weber. Okay, so it's now just before midday, so it's just been going around 13 hours, just over 13 hours. The meat probes on the ivory are saying that both probes are now at 196 degrees, so that's normally where I like to take it off. I then wrap it in blankets and put it in a cooler bag and let it rest for at least an hour or more. Sometimes I've let it rest for 2 and 3 hours, just depends what time we want to eat. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open the lid on the Weber. I'm going to stick my probe through it and see if it's tender enough in all the areas, and if the probe slips in nice and soft, I'm going to take it off and wrap it in the blankets. Remember, this has been wrapped now for at least 3-4 hours since it was stalling at about 160 degrees, 64 degrees. So let's have a look now. And there's the loose. Get my probe and just see if it slips in nicely. Seems to. It seems to be probing well. That's saying 200. It said the Bible says 196. Try it in another spot. Yep, 195. So look, I'm going to take this off, put it in the blankies, and let it rest so it softens up.
So here we are, the meat has now rested for 90 minutes, and as I open up the foil, you can see the amount of steam that's coming off it. I can still see it there. I left the iGrill temps in as it rested, and as we open the foil up, we're at 181 degrees Fahrenheit. The Mambo-q and the Lavalock have done an awesome job. I can see that the brisket is darker than any brisket that I've made before. The Lavalock has kept that smoke in, and the Mambo-q has done a great job of deflecting the heat over and around the meat, giving me a really good indirect heat. I'm really happy with the colour, and I'm really happy with the way that this brisket looks in general. As I go for the pull test in the corner, you can see how nice and easily a strip pulls away. It tastes great, and the bark is really chewy, which is just the way I like the bark to be. Flavoursome and thick, and with a great amount of bite to the bark. The fat on top has rendered and is really gelatinous and soft, so it should look great as we cut into this. We'll get a few slices happening now so we can have a look inside at the colour and the final result of the product. Get that first corner off. The colour inside looks great. I'm able to cut this at a good thickness and it's not falling apart, it's holding together, but the knife is sliding through it and the fat is really soft. So I'll cut a bigger slice and let's go for a pull test on a slice to see how it holds up. Holds up well under its own weight, a little bit of a tug, very light tug, and pull test works. So really happy with the results here. Lavalock adds to the result, and the Mambo-q, fantastic. Really happy with both of those products and the way that the Lavalock and the Mambo-q have enhanced the Weber to give me this absolutely brilliant result on this brisket. You can see how soft that fat is on top, you can see juices glistening out of it. This really is probably the best brisket that I've made so far. Really happy with the way it's turned out.